Welcome back to the Frugal Gardener's Homestead. I'm the Frugal Gardener, and today's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It means another installment of Gardening Over 40. Now, before I get started, I want to bring you guys' attention to this. This is something that I'm going to explain to you later on. If you don't know what it is already, then we'll get to that. I have again, more tips. And I had 3 bonus tips of what I think you guys would probably uh, want to know about how to garden without a lot of bending, a lot of walking, a lot of kneeling. You get the idea. So let's get started. And before I do go any further, I've had questions about where I garden, and I garden in Zone 7A, and that is in West Virginia. So for those of you who are curious about that, there's that little bit of information. And thank you for all your comments, your questions, anything that you want to know, anything that you want to say, anything you want to add. If you want to give us information on your garden or how you garden using less work, then please, by all means, just put that down in the comments. So here we go. This chair is here for a reason. And that's because there's been a lot of comments about this guy, this bench, this folding bench. Some of you have it already. Some of you are said you're going to order one. But if you don't want to put the money out, then this is another option for you. The height is pretty much the same. This is a folding chair. It's a little bit heavier than the bench, but it's manageable. So it's something you want to keep in mind. Now, I want to talk to you about taking less steps, and that is this drip hose. And here it is. Drip hoses are not the same as sucker hoses. It's November. We are approaching Thanksgiving, so I'm not using this right now, but this is a 25-foot hose, and if you count, I just started this here for purposes of demonstration. So I started here, and it runs down. That's there are 14 um, milk crates in this row here. But if you throw in these other 4 pots here, and you throw in the pot down on the end, you have 19. So you can imagine how much work this is going to save you, how many steps this is going to save you every day, or however many days you water when the weather heats up and it's, roasted out here and you don't want to be out in the sun. So you just lay this out. There's a bunch of tiny little holes in here. It's not expensive. I think I paid 20 some dollars for this. I've had this for years. You just roll it up at the end of the season and put it away. So this is the rest of it. So it's pretty long. I think this one might be 50, but you don't really have to get that long. They're different lengths and obviously different prices. So you roll this bad boy out and you plug it in. That's it. The frugal son-in-law. Oh my goodness, this is his thing. Not only does he use this, he has a timer. So he sets this in the spring, sets everything up, set it and forget it, and it's pretty no fuss, low key gardening. Basically, all he has to do is take out the weeds because he's a very busy guy. He has important things to do, and one of them is to help take care of my granddaughter, but that's another story. At any rate, you put this in. This is tip number 1. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And going back to something else that we did in a previous episode. We talked about using the um, gorilla cart to transport your whatever it is you bring from the store, and it got me to thinking. A lot of people, especially if you're retired and you're on a fixed income, you don't have the money to go out and spend a couple $100 for a cart. I bought this hand truck 9 years ago, and I've been using it off and on ever since. This is better in a way than using the Gorilla Cart because this fits into small spaces. It's easy to maneuver. This will hold 300 pounds. And I checked before I did this video, this is $65, but that's because this has another feature on it. You can transfer this so this handle stands upright and you can use this as the doily. But if you just want a straight up uh, hand truck, you can probably get this for a lot less. So, that's something that you might want to consider if you don't have a means to move your items around without spending a lot of time and giving your back a break. Also, less steps. One of the things that I forgot to mention to you about this is these soaker hoses can save you up to 80% on your water usage. 80%. So I'm sure that that's something that uh, you'll be interested in because when you think about it, that adds up over the course of the summer. And a lot of us are on fixed incomes. So that 80% savings will be a big help. So here we are back over to my workstation. I need to get myself a new a new banner that wasn't seen better days. So now we're on to tip number 2, which is soil. Last week we did this watercress, and we didn't talk about soil mixture. Now this is going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. A lot of video garden channels, a lot of content creators, they give you all these things to put in your soil. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not knocking it, but they use fish emulsion. They use blood meal, bone meal, uh, Epsom salt, all kinds of things. And I use some of those things myself. But if you want to save time and money when you're just planting your uh, plants in the beginning of the season, I showed you this last week. Excuse me. So basically, I use 3 things. This is the soil. Again, take a bag or 2 of this or something similar. This happens to be organic. Um, the thing is, you want to put 50 to 60% soil, and then you're going to add peat moss, 25%, and you're going to add compost. That's one of the reasons why I showed you the chickens in the beginning. It was more of a reminder to me because I used to make my own compost until I got out here. Well, it's a whole new ball game out here because there's all sorts of predators, and uh, I saw a wild turkey recently, but we have raccoons, squirrels, possums. We have all kinds of critters out here, and I don't want to attract anything to to my chickens. So I'm going to have to build a compost bin that's going to be predator proof. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, let me know down in the links below. So okay, so basically that's it. I mean, once you put your soil in, and you add your peat moss and your, well, that's not it, because I forgot to mention this. This is all-purpose plant food. Now, just to be clear, if I was growing tomatoes, if this was the spring or the summer, and you have some plants that need more nutrients than others, so this is just general. This is a quick way to get stuff done so that you're not out here for long periods of time, and you're just adding the peat moss. And like I said, you want to put 25% of peat moss. You could bump this up to 60%, the actual soil, and then the compost and the peat moss 20% each. And then this plant food, I chose all purpose for a reason. I would put 1 cup. You could put 2, but I would put 1 cup, and that's it. You basically mix it up and you put it in your soil. You're good to go. Now, along the way, a month and a half later, 5, 6 weeks later, you can make that adjustment. If you needed to add something else to the soil, you could at that point. But I think that for most of what you're going to grow in the fall and winter, this will get you started. So that is my bonus tip number 2. And the last thing that I want to go over today is what I brought up in the beginning of this video. And that's this. This is a thermometer. To be more precise, it's an indoor-outdoor thermometer. I have several of these around the house. This one cost me, I think it was $15. And it goes with this. How many times have you gotten up to go out into your garden, or to go anywhere for that matter, and the weatherman the night before, or either on your phone, tells you temperature's going to be this, that, the other? You go outside and it's way off. I use the National Weather Service forecast. I use AccuWeather. I use 3 different weather service forecasts, and they all almost all different. So you go outside and you're too cold, and you have to go back, get a hat, get a jacket. Again, more steps, more walking, more waste of time. This is, when I first started buying these, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, it was kind of a novelty, and they were expensive. And so now they've come down so much. You can set this to Fahrenheit to Celsius, and this bottom uh, number will give you the temperature indoors. I have to reset it because I just brought it outside, but it's pretty simple to operate, pretty cheap to operate. The thing about the cheap ones, like this one, you should know, you can't leave this outside. You can't leave it. You can't leave it in the rain, I should say. I usually put this in kind of a lunch bag or someplace in my greenhouse where it doesn't get wet. There's a little flashing red light in there that tells you when the battery needs to be changed. Well, you'll know because this gizmo here will stop working. So next week, we're going to plant carrots because we went through all these containers, and some of them are kind of small. And I guess you guys are wondering, if you haven't used these already, what can you plant in those containers? And on top of that, we're going to bump it up. We're going to supersize the next episode, and we're going to go more vertical, more horizontal, so that you can grow in more than just a small container. So I hope that you, if you haven't subscribed already, if you haven't hit the notification bell already, I hope that you do, because there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more that I have to share with you guys. And I appreciate you spending the time and coming back. And again, the comments, please keep them coming. That's it for today. I'm the Frugal Gardener. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'll catch you guys next Tuesday with a new episode.